No wonder we have 55 downloads.
Let's go.
But yeah. So we want to say thank you guys for all the support on our last few episodes. It's been great. We're close to our second set of Bugattis and Lamborghinis. If you know us personally and you're like, wait, I've never seen you guys like have those cars, don't worry about it. They're locked up. We don't take them out for.
We don't want people like you to look at them.
Yeah, we don't take them out just for anybody. And again, and I'm gonna keep promoting this like over and over. I don't think there will ever be a day where I don't promote this, but there's socials, our socials, the podcast socials, all in the description. There's a sign up sheet if you want to like be a part of the episode. We've already seen a couple submissions and we've denied them immediately. We are not having those people on. They can go find their own show. No, that's not true. They're fine. We'll I don't know. We'll start.
We're supposed to start we're supposed to start doing it after the 5th.
Yeah. Which is this
coming
episode.
up.
We might not start doing it after the 5th. We might take another couple episodes.
We'll let you know once we figure our shit out.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we're kind of getting in the groove of things. So like, why would we want to stop that? Why would we want to interrupt by having some fucking randoms on our pod, you know? But yeah, we'll start doing that soon. So what happened with you, Rene? Anything cool happened this last week besides The Last of Us?
No.
Okay.
Don't do anything interesting.
You know what's so funny is that the whole music idea, like it was kind of on a whim. I was like, okay, well, you know, if him or I don't like have anything cool to talk about, then we could just like go straight to the music, because like, you know, we're always listening to music. You know, we're two men of culture. And yet here we are. You have nothing of interesting to say for what happened this last week, and then you also didn't put any music in the playlist or even like talk to me about any of it. So do you want to like explain what's going on? Are you quiet quitting?
I'm distraught. No, I just forgot.
You just forgot.
I don't do anything all week besides go to work, and work has been pretty not stagnant, but nothing noteworthy happening. I forgot to put the music in because I just forgot. Yeah.
So when you say you forgot, did you like listen to music and then just like didn't put it in the thing, or did you not listen to any like cool music?
I haven't listened to anything new.
Okay.
But I can. Today I listened to. Oh fuck. Oh shit! It's playing. Don't record that. Copyright. Oh fuck.
Yeah, no pressure.
Fuck. Oh god. Supercar, which is a Japanese shoegaze band, pretty good. And then I also got into some more doom metal, so I found a band called Peth, their album Merchant of Death, which is pretty good. It's Sabbath worship and Sabbath core. If you ever listen to Tommy Yami, his guitar solos is pretty good. Same kind of the vibe. They have a song in there called Amok, or wait, is it Stoned Wizard? Stoned Wizard sounds exactly like The Wizard by Black Sabbath. So if you're into Black Sabbath, check them out. That's like probably one UK underground emerging stoner punk doom metal album that I picked up this week. I just forgot to put it in the playlist. Does that work for you?
Nah, none of those words made any sense. None none of them belong together. What the fuck is Sabbath core? Like, don't
Bands.
don't know. We don't, we don't care. Um, maybe if those were in the playlist, I would have been like, "Oh, sick."
No, you're
shit
not gonna like it.
Sounds like ass, but at least it's here in the playlist. At least he
did
songs.
it.
Yeah. Okay, well that's cool. At least you listen to something. I didn't know Japanese shoegaze was a thing. Like, what the fuck is that?
Is
Is it just
fucking
shoegaze, but like
good.
by Japanese people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Very, very on the nose name. Yeah, I didn't really do that much either. I think I was supposed to go like meet one of my classmates to do to like start an essay or like continue an essay. That didn't happen. We were supposed to meet actually earlier today, and he never texted me like he said he would, and
He ghosted you.
I didn't feel the need to like remind him, So, and cause like I don't know, we weren't really gonna meet for anything. Like, I've already made the outline for us. We just need to like fill it out. So yeah, here's hoping that we actually have an essay to turn. We will. Like, it's not due for another week, but I don't know. I'm not extremely confident that the work is going to be 50-50,
Yeah. Well, that's college.
Yes, sir. I also learned that I got a 4.0 last quarter.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that.
Yeah, my teacher he didn't. He took a while to put in the grade for one of the courses because of the whole strike thing that was going on.
Oh yeah.
But he finally put it in. I got an A. So yeah, I got a 4.0. I'm very proud of myself. If I get anything lower than an A ever, then it's immediately gonna go to like a 3.8 something, and then my career's over.
Tough.
Yeah, and then I could never have a 4.0 again after that. So
Tough.
yeah, we'll see. If I sound distraught in like 2 months, just know that I didn't ace all my courses.
Sounds like a you problem.
So true. No, I'm gonna bring it to the podcast. Everybody's gonna know. It's gonna be everybody's problem. But yeah, and then yeah, that's kind of it for my week. I don't really nothing really exciting besides watching The Lobster with that emotional moment for me. But in terms of music, now me, you know me. If you know me, you know that I'm a.
No, he's gonna say some whack ass shit right now. You know.
If you know me, my music taste is god awful. But
you know me. I make TikTok videos.
My music taste might be awful, but that doesn't mean that you guys aren't gonna know about it. Everybody's gonna know what I'm listening to.
You know me. I post the lyrics on my stories.
I remember you bullied me for that once, like a long ass time ago, and it like affected me for like a day, and then I was like, you know what? Fuck that shit. For one day, I was like, you know what? I was listening to a song.
Distraught, just room just spinning.
Yeah, I listened to one song and I was like, Renee's not gonna like this. I can't post this anywhere. And then I got over it really quick, and then look at me now. Now I don't.
Back
stop.
on his grind.
Yeah, it's you can't go a week without seeing me post a story with some shitty song in the background.
He got the likes of the artists too. The artists are like reaching out to him.
Yep.
We should get one of your artists to be on our podcast. We'll probably become popular.
You know, that's such a great idea. Maybe.
But hey, worst party ever. Do you want to
We'll get.
You want to redeem yourself?
No. We'll get to that.
Oh my fucking god.
So I was wondering if you remember. Okay, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. So three bands, three groups been really popping for me this week. The beginning of the week it was AG Club. You know, they're a San Francisco based rap duo. I think it's just two of them. Very very popular here in NorCal, as you would imagine. Very good, very Brockhampton-esque. You know, they got that sort of production, I think, which I enjoy for the most part. But they haven't released too much music, like a couple of albums, and I like them, but
Just like Brockhampton.
yeah, I think AG Club has slightly less issues than Brockhampton did. But you know, with only two people, you could only go so far wrong. You know.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, that was the beginning of my week. They're doing a concert, in Santa Cruz, in a couple months. I might go to that. I haven't completely made up my mind, but I think it'd be pretty cool to go. And it's just when the next quarter starts for me, so like I won't have anything important to do. So that's definitely a maybe. The other band that I've been listening to a lot is Teenage Priest. I can't even front. I didn't find them. I wasn't.
Ooh.
I didn't even. You know, they weren't on my radar initially. They're I think it's just one guy. But he's relatively new. Started releasing stuff in like 2019, 2020, you know, just before the world ended for a couple years. And how would I describe it? You know, it's a good. I'm looking at the Spotify page. They got some songs in the chill vibes playlist in the bedroom pop playlist.
Oh, in the bedroom.
Yes, sir. The late night vibes playlist. So you know, you kind of just based off of that, you kind of get an idea. You know, he's a little sultry. He's a little provocative, kind of like in a sad way, not in a hot way. A little introspective. Yeah, but one of my friends from work, her and I have a blend playlist, and like there was always a song with Teenage Priest on it, and I don't know, I listened to like one of them and I was like, this shit is ass. And I thought that for like the first couple times I listened to it, and then after the third time I was like, wait a second, he spins. He's got, you know, he's doing something no one's ever done before, you know, sing well. So yeah, and then after that, you know, kind of just like now I listen to all the songs more or less. I think they're all really good. I think it's like he's a super easy artist to get into because it's just like, you know, it's chill vibes.
Chill vibes. Well, I'm off the wall fucking batshit crazy, so I don't think chill vibes work for me.
Yeah, your music's ass though. So like I'm talking for like you know, the general public that has a good taste. I'm talking to the California people, you know.
Oh, my fault.
Not to the you know, the desert people. Not to the Arizonans that listen. You know, I'm sure most of you are cool, but Rene isn't. So
I'm the coolest person on this street. I tell you that.
Okay.
I don't even know anyone on the street, so you know.
Can't lose, baby.
Actually, no, I'm not the coolest person on this street.
Why?
Fuck.
Who's on your street?
There's like a dude that lives like 2 houses down. He rides for a local skate shop here, and he fixes fucking street cars and shit.
Damn.
In his garage. I'm not the coolest person. Fuck.
You're not.
Well,
even
I'm the second
person.
coolest.
You're not the coolest person on your street. That's wild. That could not be me. I'm easily the coolest people or coolest person in
coolest
like,
people.
Shut the fuck up. I'm like the coolest person in my in my block, you know.
In your cell block, probably.
Yeah, on my floor, um, at
I
my
mean,
college, in my dorm. The coolest person in this
yeah.
dorm room. That I could say, no doubt, no
I
doubt.
mean, I'm on your screen right now, so tough.
Okay.
Oh, you're not on your screen. Fuck. I'm in your ears though, so that makes me the coolest person in your dorm room.
Are you okay?
No, I'm distraught.
Okay, for sure.
Go on.
Okay, third band. I gotta be honest. I haven't even like listened to them at all, but there's
Why,
been some.
Brandon?
There's been some Twitter discourse, as of late, about revolving around a band that, or it's again it's a dude, that I've been repping since day one, you know, and by day one I mean like maybe a year or two ago. Worst Party Ever is the name of the band. The name of the dude is Andy. It's always an Andy. I don't know why, but just like Andy's not good vibes. But apparently there's this. He made a tweet where I didn't read all of it in detail, but the gist of it was like, I emotionally manipulated these two girls, and they both like dated me for a bit. And because of this, I'm no longer making music for like a little bit. Like I'm gonna work on myself. I'm gonna go to therapy. You know, is one of those things.
I read it.
Oh, what did it say? Word for word. Go ahead.
Oh fuck. It's
Yeah, this is my show. This is my show. No, go ahead. What is it?
He said that I should say the person said that, correct, he did manipulate two women into a relationship with him while he was pursuing other ventures on the side, meeting other women, and to the point where he was manipulated them emotionally and sexually to get what he wants. And how do you feel about that, Brendan?
Okay, so okay. So there's no fuck. How do I word this? Let's just say I like him as an artist, okay? I don't know him as a person, but I like him as an artist. He liked my story once because I had his song.
Oh no, they're like friends now.
Because I reposted something that he put on Instagram. It was like a unreleased song, and I was like, this shit slaps. And he liked it. So him and I, best friends as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I think, I don't know, cause like obviously there's artists that are objectively bad people that have done like awful things. Think in recent memory, Kanye West, kind of a bad guy, like a really awful guy. And that's like super objective. Like if you think anything he did in the past, like, 6 months or so, and even longer if you want to like look at how he treated Kim Kardashian and all that. But if you think anything that he's done in like the last 6 months is like okay, then like you're fucked. Like there's an issue. We need to talk. Need to get you into a therapist or something. But if you're like, I don't condone cheating. Like, cheating's not cool. You should not do that. Especially if you're like a normal dude. Like you and I, we should not cheat because like we're not even talented. Like we can't even get away with it. We have no redeeming qualities.
We're not talented.
But I don't know. He shouldn't have cheated. But like, should that like ruin his career? I don't think so.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
I don't think that like cheating should ruin.
I don't know. I listened to one of his songs, and they say you put some of your personality into the art you make, and I felt cheat. I felt manipulated after listening to that song.
Okay,
that's
well,
just me.
I enjoy that, so like that's why I like the music so much.
And what did you want to name this episode? Oh wait, what did I want to name this episode?
Fuck.
Oh no.
I don't remember. What did you want to do? Oh yeah. What did you want to do?
By the way, I was like, by the way, I think manipulation is cool or is fine sometimes.
Yeah. By the way, it's okay to manipulate. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
by the
mean,
way, it's okay to manipulate if
okay,
you're an
but then,
artist.
yeah, but then you gotta think about it. Like manipulation and cheating are two different things, right? There's
Are
like
they?
there's severity to each, right? So like low level manipulation where you're like, oh shit, I don't have enough money. Could you like buy me this? When in reality you had like enough money, you just like wanted them to get you a gift. Like that's one thing. But like if you're gonna manipulate someone like he did, where he's like having sex with two women behind their backs and
And
like that like that's not cool. And then cheating is just kind of like bad, like you know across the board, more or
it's
less.
just bad podcast etiquette. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, I think if I cheated on you with another podcast, that's not something I would ever do. I would not go on another podcast and talk about things. Right?
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So glad you haven't done that ever.
Nope.
But yeah, like I don't know. I still like his music. I think I'm allowed to still like his music. Uh, I don't support what he did. I don't think he should have done it. I don't think he should have cheated or manipulated these two women. But
do you support Kanye's music?
No, no, I don't think I can support his music after the numerous.
Yeah, he did
said.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. You can't really compare that. Those are
Yeah.
two very awful things. And if you don't know what Kanye did, no, people know. We got
Touch grass. Touch
influential.
grass.
Yeah, we got influential people in our downloads.
Our Rwandan fans.
Yeah. South African fans. But yeah. So like it was bad. But like I'm still gonna listen to his music. And I hope he like still makes music in like a year, But like his tweet when I sent it to you, it had like 1 million. So like I saw it immediately when he posted it, and it had like 2,000 views, and I was like, okay, do you? If you need to step away, don't let me tell you not to. But when I sent it to you, it had like 1 million views, and I was like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And now it has 2.7 million views, which is
imagine if we had that many listeners. That's wild.
one day. Well, we do. That's how we have the Bugattis and Lamborghinis.
Oh, for sure. Forgot.
But yeah, and then you just like you start going through the quote retweets and like.
Oh, I didn't go through that. I just read it.
See, I've developed a bad habit of like going through Twitter comments and going through the quote retweets, and it's like it's been an awful idea. It has not brought me any happiness. There's nothing positive by going through that shit. But yeah, there's some people that are like, why the fuck are you saying sorry? Just like be a cunt and like move on. And then there's other people that are like, he should die. And I'm kind of like,
oh my god.
And I'm kind of like, no, I don't think either of those are like the proper way to handle it. But yeah, so I'm saying this as his best friend, as somebody he knows closely. I know him very well.
Stop.
Yeah, just stop. Just do better.
Stop.
Learn from your mistakes, and let's just let's all learn to move on. Okay. Collectively, as a group.
You think after he sent that tweet, he was just like, still beat though?
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
I think that's a very Twitter.
I think he looked at his PR person, dabbed him up, and went still beat though.
No, I don't think that happened at fucking all. But if it did, I'm down.
Oh, he supports.
He's a good artist. Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna pretend that I wasn't a fan from day one. Plus, like nobody cares. Like even the normal people on Twitter probably did not see the fucking thing. his apology, his notes app apology.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that you know, don't cheat. I think that's the moral of the story. Don't cheat. Um, Manipulation's okay sometimes. Use at your own discretion. And if you make good music, you could get away with a lot of stuff, but not everything.
Not Kanye.
Yeah, not Kanye. Kanye, yeah, no, you fucked up. He's done. But then you could also like, who was Shakira? What did she do? She like stole money or something.
Yeah, no, she tax fraud, I think.
Shakira, tax fraud.
Yeah, I think it was tax fraud or tax
Evasion.
evasion. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, it was fraud.
Lole.
14.5 million euros in taxes.
Oh man.
Like, what do we say about her? Like, is that cool?
I mean,
Stealing
she did
money
the song
from
for
the government?
I mean,
From Spain?
I mean,
The Spanish government? I'm okay with it,
yeah, she made a banger for the World Cup that one year.
So true. So true. She did. Wasn't that the 2014 World Cup?
I think so. Yeah.
That's my favorite one. So, she's got my vote.
So, lole.
But yeah, I just wanted to make music again. His last album was good, and there needs to be more. But okay, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, cause for the last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how long has it been? It's been like that long, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about politics, cause initially when we first started talking about having a podcast and stuff, there was like 4 of us instead of us 2. There was a lot of drama. Let's just say there was one defector who was like, I don't really want to talk about politics, and I was like, that's not gonna slide with me. I'm here.
Dear God.
I'm here to
clock out.
I'm here to create problems. I want to talk about the issues of the world from a political lens. I'm going to college. This is all I'm learning about. I'm only learning about the issues of the world, not how to solve them, but just which ones there are. And let me tell you, there's a lot. We're all fucked heavily. But then I got to thinking, a couple weeks ago when I brought up this idea, I was like, where do we start? Politics is so
Vague.
broad. Vague, yeah, that too. But it's like, you say politics, what do people immediately think? They think, oh, the president.
Liberals.
And
oh,
wait, what?
I said liberals.
So true. They think liberals. They think
Yeah.
They think Mr. Bo Biden. They think Kamala Harris. They think Donnie T.
Yeah.
Donnie T, the big man. They think these crucial figures, either currently or once a part of the United States government. And, those are important people, some more than others. But I didn't want to start there. I didn't just want to dive into like the president, because like, what am I gonna say
washed.
about? What?
Yeah. Is it washed?
Yeah, so true. The president fucking washed. Vice
Washed.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares what they do. Bo Biden, he's done. He's almost done. Like in life and in the presidency. So I didn't want to get into that. So now we're gonna talk about it. Instead, we're gonna talk about a facet of politics, and we're talking about. And by we, I mean me. Rene's not gonna know anything that I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is the branded episode. Yep.
If you didn't already get the vibe that this is like Brandon's, domain, don't you worry. You're gonna learn in a few minutes. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna talk about talk about policing in general.
Wow.
Yeah, our favorite topic, um, the police, and yeah, just gonna give you guys like a brief history. You know, what is policing? Well, you know what policing is. I don't need to do that. But like, why the police were invented, uh, what they were supposed to do, what they've been doing recently, why we need to like get rid of them.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
My voice cracked.
Nice. We can cut that. um, but yeah. So, let's just dive in. So Rene, honestly, this
Yeah.
is gonna be a lot. This is just I'm gonna be quizzing you and see if you get it right.
This
And
is,
then
this is a
every time
question
you
and
get it wrong,
answer.
yeah, every time you get it wrong, I'm gonna say, "No, you fucking dumbass. This is what they actually do. You fucking conservative bitch. You don't know shit."
What?
Do you?"
Me?
Okay. Do you know what the original objective of policing was in like the 17 and 1800s? Like when policing it became a thing in the U.S.
Like policing as in like a group of people rather than, or like a policy or
Like as an organization. Like what are the police
Okay.
for?
to maintain peace.
Uh, fuck no, dumbass.
Fuck! Yeah, I don't know. I was alive in the 1700s, dog. They were fucking me up at that time.
So true, so true. Then you should know. Just think of the police as like the military, you know? They do the same thing.
They are the military.
We're gonna get into that. So true, so true. But yeah, no.
No, Brandon, tell me, what was the original policy organization of policing?
So the idea that the police at any point were there to keep the peace is like not true.
Not true?
Like at all.
Oh, fuck. It's
Yeah.
propaganda?
It is.
Oh, fuck.
Who would-
The
you know-
wool has been pulled over my eyes, bro.
I know, right? Who would have guessed that, what the government has been pushing for hundreds of years has not been true.
Yeah.
Um,
Who would have guessed? Who would have
Yeah.
thunk?
couldn't be me.
Probably me. But
Probably you, definitely you. But yeah, so basically, during the time of slavery, of
Mhm.
the 1800s, 1700s, not really the 1900s. I don't know. Slavery has taken a new turn. We could get into that like in a
It's
different
taking a
episode.
new face.
Yeah, there's a new phase of slavery. We don't call it regular slavery anymore. But yeah, basically, what would happen is governments. I think it tended to be state governments, but it could also be federal. Basically, they'd hire poor white people and say they'd go up to them and say, "Hey, I see that you're poor. I see that you don't have any money. So how about I give you some money, and you just make sure that these slaves that are on this plantation don't revolt, because obviously that was a big issue
Mhm.
for white plantation owners is slave revolts, because believe it or not, slavery was not cool. So yeah, they'd pay these poor white people to basically keep these poor black or slaves in line for, and it's not like they were making much money. Like, you could not get out of poverty by being a police officer. You were still
Mhm.
severely underpaid for what you were doing, but also what you were doing was like probably the one worst, maybe like second to worst job you as like a human being could like partake in. But yeah, and then like with the Second Amendment, basically you're like, hey, white people, here you go, here's some guns, just keep these other people in line, and we'll pay you, we'll make an organization, you could do this, all the time, do this for a living, Um, and yeah, that was kind of like the that's the backdrop of policing. And like
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of arguments to be like, oh well, what about like some people that would like go into shops and like rob them or whatever. And like yeah, police dealt with that sometimes, but usually
The
they didn't.
sheriffs are for deputies.
What?
So that's what sheriffs and deputies are for, and why shop owners had to do their own shit.
So true. Um, and yeah, like half the time they wouldn't even like
Yeah.
they didn't care. Like oh you got robbed, that's tough.
Tough,
Good
bro.
luck. Um,
Couldn't be me anyway.
so true. Um, but yeah, so then you get a little further. You get
Mm-hmm.
13th Amendment. That shit starts passing. Slavery illegal for the most part. We have a whole civil war about that. The North wins. Very cool. Love that. Um, Now the issue turns into like the civil rights movement, right? Black
Mm-hmm.
people want more rights. White people in power, or just some white people in general, do not like that. Um, so what they would do a lot of the time is use the police as like a what's the word as like a mediator kinda, but definitely like on the side of uh, the like middle and upper class white people. So, you got situations like Rodney King, or more recently like Tyree Nichols. There's a list somewhere of like all of the black people that have been killed under um, the law, I guess, or by police. Um, and yeah, so for like the last 60, 70, 80 years, it's just been a lot of like police not being on the side of the proletariat.
Mm-hmm.
They're not on the side of the working class. They're instead on the side of
The enemy.
the enemy, corporations, the government. And and a lot of the times that uh comes to fruition in like assaulting people of color,
Minorities. Yeah.
minorities. Yeah. So yeah, that's like I don't know. That's an issue that the United States has been dealing with for a long time. I don't know what it's gonna look like in the future. I think it's gotten a little better, but like obviously you get situations like what happened a couple weeks ago, and you're like, oh, we're still we're still in the 50s, we're still in the 60s. Shit really hasn't
Yeah.
changed. Um, and then with like the war on drugs too, that if I remember correctly, was it Nixon or was it Reagan that pushed that? Well, they both pushed it,
I think
but
it
who
was Nixon.
started it? Okay, it was Nixon. Um, yeah, so you got Nixon.
Richard Nixon.
Yeah, our good friend Richard, good friend Dick.
Dick.
Um,
Yeah.
um, pushing for harsher penalties, mandatory minimum sentences on different drugs. Um, Interestingly enough, I don't know if you knew this because I didn't know it until like a couple years ago. Um, there are different, or there were different mandatory minimums for different drugs, but like in particular, like drugs that you would find in like upper class neighborhoods compared to like lower income neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
So like cocaine is obviously seen as like a high class drug. So you'd mainly see like white people with it, like rich white people, and they would get like
Mm-hmm.
lesser sentences for being caught with that
Yeah.
than like anybody else would be with like crack or something. Um, so there's like a lot of, what's the word? Lot of this, yeah, disparity, between how like different races and ethnicities are treated, and then also like between different drugs. You know, obviously weed is like widely available, and it always has
Yeah.
been. Um, and like a lot of people, you know, in lower income communities just, you know, had it to some degree, sell it, would buy it. So we would, well, the United States government would seek these lower income neighborhoods that had this like drug, and then just arrest people, you know, do the mandatory minimum thing, you know, 10, 15, 20 years just for possession
Mm-hmm.
of like low grade amounts of these drugs.
Yeah.
Um, and then, you know, it becomes cyclical, and you get the prison industrial complex, which is a whole different thing that we might go into in a different episode. um
Woo.
yeah, I think that's where my career is going. Like that's what I'm most interested in this
Mm.
whole world of social issues. um but yeah, so, you know, timeline: cops, low income white people, uh using the very little authority that they have been given by property owners and wealthy white people to um, arrest and punish slaves or low income minorities. And that goes on for like 50 years. Then you get to civil rights movement. Well, even before that, you get to 1865, all the shit that happened then,
Mm.
with our good friend Abe, the Civil War, 13th Amendment. Um, yeah, there's a whole lot of shit that kind of goes on during that time too, where it's like, well, yeah, where like the prisons become like the new form of slavery, but like
Oh yeah,
we'll get into that in the prison episode. Um,
yeah. Mm.
but then you keep going, you have civil rights movement, um, police like exerting an excessive amount of force, basically like going out of their jurisdiction to like keep minorities, quote unquote, in their place.
Yeah.
Um, and then you have like different policies like mandatory minimums, war on drugs, and that goes up until like the 90s to 2000s, and then we start backpedaling some of that. Um, and same in like the 2010s. Um, but yeah, it's a very complex issue. There's a lot of problems within it, within policing itself. The origin of policing is an issue. Um, the fact that police in themselves are like class traders, because, you know, their origin was like poor white people attacking poor minorities, and that's still hasn't changed really. It's still kind of the same thing, except if now if you're a cop, you're like seen as middle class usually. I don't know. I think most cops make like definitely a livable salary, but then you have like all the incentives and shit, and that kind of, and like healthcare and blah blah blah.
I don't know. I see fucking cops driving around some crazy ass cars and shit when they're off duty.
Right? Like they, you
Yeah.
know, they get paid more than enough,
Yeah.
um, for what they do. And then, you know, you have unions where they're like basically they kind of get out of a lot of situations scot free just because, you know, they're a part of a union and can't be considered liable for
Mm-hmm.
some things that happen. Um, and then like an issue that I see talked about a lot is the militarization of police, um, which we kind of brought up a little bit earlier, but basically like So with the military too, we spend so much money as like, the United States itself spends so much money. So much of our tax dollars are going to um the military and police. Those are like that, and then I think maybe social services are like the top three or something like that. But basically,
Mm-hmm.
a ton of our money goes to the military, a ton of our money goes to the police, and um, that's been the case for a long time. And yet, we still, I don't know, a lot of the arguments that like some Republicans have is like, oh well, we're just not training the police well enough. Like, they don't know how to handle these situations that they keep getting themselves in. That's why these unarmed minorities keep getting killed.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like the cops are incompetent, I guess, with the training that they've been given. So like they call for more funding, which is funny because the funding that they're gonna get, if they get it, doesn't go towards better training.
Training.
Yeah, it goes straight. It goes to like their fucking
Their
Lamborghini.
Humvees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it goes to their fucking SWAT team, so they could have like a cooler gun. Um, and yeah, and then you look at like, I don't know, it becomes a lot more apparent when you look at like uh cops in other countries too. So like in Germany, uh there are some, obviously some SWAT teams or, whatever their version of SWAT is, that are a little more, they're better armed, they're more capable of taking down like, actual domestic terrorism like operations. But that's like that's the extreme case for them. That's when they get like the 10 guns that they probably don't need, or like the 3 suits of body armor or whatever.
Yeah.
Um but for us that's like barrier to entry. Like
Mm-hmm.
every cop has a gun regardless of like whether they're using it. Like they're not using it as often as one might think, but they all have one even though they don't need it. Um so yeah, like I don't know, it begs the question like why is there so much money going to all of this when we could put that money elsewhere, or in the very least like put it into a different aspect of like uh of the police, in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like we don't need to keep giving them guns and like Humvees. We could just give them like better training. Or like, okay, so like one thing that fuck, who is it? I think it's Norway. One thing that Norway does is like, to become a cop, you have to go to like university. You have to go where I'm going right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go into debt. You got to get that tuition paid off. Um and you're going there for like, or they're going there for like, I want to say 2 to 4 years to get the training to become a police officer, and then they have like what we would consider like the normal procedure of like testing, um, physically, mentally, whatever, and then they become a cop,
Yeah.
or like a correctional officer or whatever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so like, why don't we do that? I know us as a country, the U.S. is not the same as Norway in a lot of ways. Um, but I feel like they have a more practical sense of where their money should go and like what their focus should be in terms of like how we're gonna make sure that people aren't being killed for no reason, and then also how to make sure that people aren't like being taken advantage of in those kind of situations.
Or afraid.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, and then you could get, yeah. I don't know. Policing is such like a it's such an issue, but it's a systemic issue. Like it's hard to say, oh, well, if we just change this, then maybe things will be fine, because like the whole institution of policing is, it was fucked from the start.
Mm-hmm.
So so Rene, where do we go from here? How do we fix cops? Tell me, figure it out.
When we give everyone a gun and they police themselves,
I
we handle our own shit. We just keep that 9 on the hip.
Yeah,
Someone steps out of line, just take them out.
I think you did not listen to anything I said.
No. Honestly, it's probably gotta start with, I guess, education.
It's a very good take. It's a very very good take. So true. Start with
Because I
education.
think we're taught from a very young age that all cops are good, and that kind of distorts your view on them rather than the reality of it. And like how you're saying, Norway does do the have to have the minimum university time and the class time and the interests rather than just wanting to hold a gun. Um,
Yeah,
and I think the reason that we as a country haven't done anything like that is because in reality, um, the people who have the majority say in our government don't want to see anyone younger than them be educated because we're all gonna find out what they're doing, what's really going on. They're gonna open our eyes,
yeah.
and I think that's why nothing's getting done because they don't want to fund these different programs. They don't want to take responsibility for the fact that they're keeping everyone down. And yeah, I think it really just starts with education. You got to start realizing the reality of things and where these places they're going to, the places that they're going to be, and get their heads out of their asses about what their job is rather than a power play over everyone.
So true. I agree. Um, yeah. And then that's like a whole different sort of issue, is like, how do we make the people in power like kind of realize that? Because I don't know, whenever something like the Tyree Nichols case happens, like you get the same five things happening each time. You know, you get the president saying something, which is like, okay, thank you for saying something, but you're not really doing anything. You're kind of just like, you're commenting on it. And then the police do like an internal investigation. Sometimes they find nothing wrong, and they're like, okay, well, the cops acted within their jurisdiction, quote unquote. Um, Luckily, in this time with Tyree Nichols, they like, I know they fired like 7 cops. I don't know if any of them were charged.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, they're all fired, charged. 3 EMSs were fired, and
the EMSs were fired
sometimes
too.
yeah, because they didn't give aid for like 20 minutes after.
That's interesting, because like that's all another question is like, yeah, how liable are the paramedics and like
Mm-hmm.
everybody else like involved? Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, so like, and then it's like that goes to show like it is like a serious systemic issue. Is like, why, for like, first off, why were those cops on such a power trip? Like, why did that even happen? That's like one question. Um, and I think it's easy to say in defense of Tyree Nichols, like nothing happened. Like I think it was just like a routine traffic. Like he was stopped for nothing. Um,
well, according to the video, he was stopped for reckless driving, weaving in and out of traffic, and driving into oncoming traffic. I think.
Oncoming traffic.
Yeah,
Okay. Well,
but even then, it's I don't know. Like they caught him trying to turn. Like the only reason, like they were, I don't know. They said they lit him up with lights like halfway through the like quote unquote car chase, but he stopped at a red light to make a right turn,
Mm-hmm.
or yeah, right turn, and that's when they engaged him and all this shit happened. And I
Um,
think someone said it originally happened because the original responding officer was too fat to give chase.
really?
Yeah, so the other officers had to do it.
Okay. Well, regardless, assume let's assume that all of those facts are true. Because
Yeah,
they
assuming
might
the
not be. You know, the cops
yeah, I don't know.
might have just fucking lied about the whole thing. Um, regardless, the way that the cops handled themselves in that situation is still fucked, and like,
Yeah, one of the things that they're supposed to teach them is keeping composure in certain situations. They just fucking lost it, and it's wild.
yeah, and it was fucking five of them too. Like,
5 of them for like a guy that probably weighed like a buck 20, and like these guys were
right,
like 6 foot and like jacked and so fucking wild.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so and yeah, there's just like so many inherent issues with the whole case, and it's not like I don't know. A lot of the time, like um, the police surrounding like the department will be like, oh well, like this never usually happens. Like this was a one off, but like it's not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at all a one off because there's people getting killed by cops like every day.
And I want to say I believe that the unit that actually that that got fired was a Scorpion unit, which is like their street level unit.
Right. Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and
And
yeah, not
that
like
whole
a
thing got disbanded.
patrol officer. Yeah,
Um,
which is fucking wild. Like you're literally trained for this. So why you're supposed? I should say you're literally supposed to be trained for this kind of urban engagement, rather than taking it to the extreme like that.
yeah. Um, yeah. There's like a lot of inherent issues with the police, and honestly, like I don't know, a couple years ago when the whole George Floyd thing was happening, and everybody was like, oh, we should definitely defund the police. Initially, I was like, I didn't really get it. I was not as well educated as I have now. Um, like I understood the premise, but I was like, how do we start doing that?
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of like, oh, we just need to like we need to make sure somebody knows. You know, we gotta keep spreading the word, keep talking about it, say their name, etc. etc. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well that was and now we outro.
Oh fuck.
uh,
My brain hurts.
so true. Did you want to talk more about politics? We still have like 15 things.
Um, or we can touch on some stuff.
What do you mean by that?
Touch people. Touch
Oh.
on some of the topics that we have listed.
For sure.
No. Why don't we begin with Xbox,
The woke the woke box?
the woke box,
Okay.
and how they're
Yeah.
ruining our youth.
So yeah, so don't worry guys. We might have just gone in for like half an hour on how the world is awful.
Systemic racism and all this other stuff, but the real issue now is the fact that these multi-billion-dollar tech companies are trying to get our children into climate politics, and I just want to say, what the fuck, man?
So true. Let him cook. I'm gonna let you cook. Go ahead.
So we were talking about recently that all these different like climate changes have been going on, and so it's mainly Fox News calling out these different companies and these different ideologies too woke, and one of them being Xbox. So Xbox came out with an idea earlier this month to have more efficient running Xboxes, mainly controllers, to cut down on the emissions that the gaming industry has, the carbon emissions, so like electric bills and stuff like that. So what they're thinking about doing was having a timer on your controllers, so they're not just on forever. They're gonna have a timer. They're gonna shut off, which I feel like they already do, but I feel like this is more intricate. But Fox News aired the story, and of course they are already going crazy and talking about how Xbox is trying to recruit your kids into the climate change politics at an early age, along with hamburgers, cars, and recently stoves.
Stoves.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the stoves, but
You don't know about the gas stoves?
I don't know about the gas stoves. I just know America's under attack.
We have been for a long time, I think.
And, and there was a fucking Ted Cruz fucking tweeted about the Xbox, and he said first gas stoves, then a coffee, and now they're gunning for your Xbox.
He actually tweeted that.
He did.
That's
and then I had
crazy.
another congressman, Troy Niels. He tweeted, they want your guns, they want to take your gas stoves, and they want to take your Xbox. What's next? Oh man, it's how do you feel about
who let him cook?
America? He's a congressman.
Who elected these people?
You did.
I did not. I'd like to say publicly that I did not elect any of these people into office.
Oh man, it's
yeah,
wild.
I don't. Okay, so like a lot of what politics has been recently is like it's a lot of culture war shit. It's a lot of like, finding the most mundane and like nobody cares issue and making it the biggest thing on the planet. Because in reality, Americans like either A, don't have real issues, or B, we don't want to talk about the real issues.
Yes.
Like policing. So instead, we just say, oh yeah, Xbox being like slightly, like ever so slightly more,
carbon friendly.
yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah, no, we can't allow that. Or like gas stoves. The thing that like most Republicans or most people in Republican states already don't have. They're mainly fucking electric. We all got to get pissed off about that. They got to fight a fight that they aren't even fighting. They weren't fighting like a year ago. And yeah, like I don't. It's just two of like the most dumb fucking stances to have.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Like gas stoves are bad. Like there's evidence proving that like, I mean, if we're being honest, like in my opinion, gas stoves are better. Like they cook food better.
Oh yeah.
But like it's killing you. Like, over time that's just gonna fuck with you.
You know what else is killing you?
What?
Socialism.
Yeah, socialism's another one. But I didn't really read up enough about that. We might have to come back to that next week.
That's an Erica episode. I
Yeah,
don't know much about.
so true. But yeah, and then the whole Xbox thing. I'm kind of surprised. I didn't hear anything about that. Mainly, I don't know. I guess I see. I don't follow Ted Cruz, unlike maybe some people on this podcast. But yeah, I didn't even hear about that. And PlayStation already does that. PlayStation already does like hey, if you don't touch your controller for like 5 minutes, we're gonna blow it up.
Yeah.
And then you have like DeSantis in fucking Florida. Florida's fucked. Florida's cooked.
Yeah, Florida is. I saw a video today where it's like this girl's like, I don't understand why people don't want to live in Florida. It's February and look where I am. And she's like in a pool.
Wow.
And then media cuts to like all the fucking stories about DeSantis and being reelected, the book bans, them doing the 14-day abortion ban with no, like, it doesn't include, fuck. It was like, they don't care if you were raped, incest, or sex trafficked. You can't get aborted. Can't have that aborted. And it was like, Donnie T talking about how he's gonna move his permanent estate to Florida because they have the right idea. And then I was talking about how Donnie T wants to. I think it was back in when he was in still presidency, talking about he's gonna pass a bill to where doctors can refuse any gender transformation surgery for anyone at any age. I was like, oh man.
Oh
Fuck
yeah.
Florida.
No, I think that was like super recent.
Was it?
I think that was like in an interview recently. Cuz I didn't watch the whole clip, but I know what
Yeah.
you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure that was recent. It was like an exclusive interview with somebody that most people have never heard of. Some white guy. Um but yeah. America's under attack.
Fucking hate it here.
You know, I gotta be honest. I don't know if you've been seeing what like Brazil's been doing, but like we we might be moving. I might get. I
It might be relocated.
Yeah, I might be getting my degree and not living here anymore. Let's just say that. I might I don't know what I'm gonna go do in a different country, cause like
It's Brazil. Just go live the Fast and Furious life. Just go
there's a Fast and Furious
drive
movie
cars.
that takes place in Brazil.
Yes,
That's what I've never seen a single Fast and the Furious movie.
yeah. There's another one coming out.
I saw the promotional material with what's his name?
Yeah,
Vin Diesel.
the legacy. Yeah, legacy. It's like legacy continues, or I don't know.
Yeah, I mean I never cared because I've never seen a single one of them, but I really stopped caring after like 7. Once I saw the 8 one,
Okay.
I was like, okay, they're never getting me.
Once I saw Fast 9, yeah, I was like, oh man.
How are you gonna convince me, a normal human, to watch 9 Fast and the Furious movies?
I saw someone bring up that like in the second movie, I mean the first movie, Ludacris is in it, and he's just some dude that like runs a car shop during the day and like organizes street races at night. And then you fast forward to like the 5th movie or something, he's like, I'm hacking into the Pentagon or like doing all this weird shit, and everyone's like, how the fuck do you jump from owning a garage to hacking the fucking Pentagon? It makes no sense. Like they're basically becoming Marvel movies. They're gonna have a Fast and Furious extended universe with The Rock and Shazam.
Oh, did you see that? Shazam, that actor's like an anti-vaxxer now, or he always has been.
The Rock?
No, not The Rock. Fucking.
Zachary Lev.
Yeah.
Zachary Levy. Yeah.
Yeah, Levy. Yeah, he's an anti-vaxxer.
He's an anti-vaxxer. That's
Yeah.
funny.
I don't know, man. We're all fucked.
Didn't he date Florence Pugh?
No, maybe. I fucking hope not. Well, nah. Florence Pugh is not my style anymore. I'm more of a fuck. What's her name? Oh my god, what's her name? I'm a Lea Seydoux stan.
I don't know who that is.
She's in The Lobster.
Oh, okay.
She's the leader of
the brunette.
The leader. No, she has red hair. I think the leader of the people, the outside people, the singles.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel you.
I'm in love with her.
And it starts. The tweets begin.
Yeah. I think
That was the politics episode.
That's part 1 of probably like 5,000 of the politics episodes.
The Brandon episode, and this is the Rene listening episode.
Yeah. Next time we'll I don't know. I think this is my show now. I think you're gonna have to figure it out. You're gonna have
All
to
I want to say is, Dylan, good luck editing this.
Okay, bye.